like you to talk a little bit. I mean, I put it in the précis because these are things we've talked about from the get-go when you first came in, about your, and it's kind of connected to Pat's question, your relationship to the people around you, particularly in the class, right? Like there was the, you know, no, you need to take classes, and then it was finally, okay, go ahead, take all the independent studies you want. You know, I mean, you've had that tension around being in a classroom of people, but you've also been a central person. Obviously, look at all the people that are here, right? And then you taught this class, and so I'd like you to reflect a little bit about yourself and your role within groups of people, and what works and how has it changed over your time here.
Right. I mean, sort of reduced my philosophy behind why I took so many independent studies is because in a few classes I would get frustrated. There'd be a discussion, and either I wouldn't be interested in the discussion or other people wouldn't, and it would kind of get to my head, and I would just kind of crawl into a ball. And those are the classes where I didn't participate very much. And there's other classes, like Alisa's nonfiction class, where I love to talk and like help people out. So before I taught the class with Jennifer, that was when I was on my streak of like, beyond, other than Pat's class in Oaxaca, doing like 12 independent studies in a row. So I'm going from that straight to a class where I'm actually teaching the class. But at the same time, I think I enjoyed that class so much because it was the material that I wanted. Exactly, you know. But I think that's something that I could deal with better. I mean, I wish I had taken more classes to a certain extent, and I feel like I would be able to get more out of classes now. Because when I crawl up into a ball, then I just start, like in my head, I just start separating myself from everybody. I'm like, oh, what was that person saying? But like, I remember in the Freudian seminar this last year, the beginning of the first semester this year, I didn't say a lot. And it wasn't because I didn't like what people were saying. Like, I really actually enjoyed what people were saying, but there was something about just the discussion, like the setting for it, that made me really like kind of curl up. And I'd go back to my room afterwards and be like, why didn't I say this? And I didn't necessarily figure it out. Yeah.
So what's different when you're teaching the class? Because it sounds like you were able to draw out, particularly the quieter students.
Right.
Like, is there something about being in the role of the teacher that changed that for you? Or was it the material? Or
well, that's a good question, and it's strange because part of my hesitance in class to speak is because I don't want to feel like I'm an authority. I don't want to come into the conversation and say, you're all wrong, this is how it is, which ironically ended up what happening when I was in classes where I wasn't speaking a lot, and I would say something, I'd probably throw some bomb out there. And like I'm gonna be like, whoa, it's up to you. So it's interesting because when I in classes when I say something, it's like, especially ones where I'm quiet, I feel after a while I feel like, oh, if I say something, it better be very profound right now, or else blah blah blah. And it's usually at some point, I would get over the fact that it's not. So I think with the class with Jennifer, like, I was really prepared for each class. I think that was another part of it. When in certain classes, I just wasn't prepared as well for the classes I should be. And then in the class, I would kind of like get down on myself, or just kind of give up and get down on other people. Here, do you want to direct the question? I think I'll answer this one. How I interact with inside a group.
yeah, what about these folks? What about the community?
How do I see my role inside the community? Well, I'm really, I don't know if it's selfish, but I'm really particular about my time, and like I need to go eat dinner by myself. I need to sit at a table by myself and just like get in my head. But at the same time, I love like all these people here, and every time I see them, you know, I try to like smile and say hello and like just connect with them at some level. But which maybe I could relate to the classroom where before I would almost take offense. I would almost take personal offense to like the way a discussion was going. Like, why are you saying that? Like, people can seem sort of cool, and really didn't really do that at all. But yeah, I mean, in terms of seeing myself as a leader or anything, I don't really think about it, actually.
In this piece, you talk about how much being a you and
Yeah.
totally transform sort of your opinion of your peers. So
Yeah.
So you might want to
Yeah.
reflect on that.
That'd be good. It's a compliment to all you guys. Before I came to Johnston, I had no faith in people my age. I just didn't think that. I'll put that without passion. When I met all you guys here, I just thought, wow, this is a bunch of freaks here, and you just make me want to be creative and go out and interact with people. Like, I wrote in here that this place has really spoiled me. I think we're all really spoiled here to have so many great people to interact with. But even leaving here, I have this renewed sort of interest to talk to people. Like before, like I remember in high school, I had my group of friends, but for the most part, I just wasn't interested in meeting new people and learning more about people and telling people more about me. And this place has really sharpened me up to want to interact with people a lot. And that could relate back to inside the classroom. Like, if I don't say what I'm feeling, I can go brood about it later, but what good is that going to do? Like, I think I had this romantic notion of like, a writer. I'll go write about it, but I think the best way is to try to interact with as many people as you can, while at the same time, like, knowing that I need my personal space now. I can't, sorry, I'm going to walk by this group of people and I'm not going to come say hello and tell you what I've been doing the last few hours. I'm sorry. I got to go. I'm just going to walk. But kind of like having that, in Johnston I felt like there was sort of an understanding between people, not to take things personally.